What? You don't shit every day?
Not every single day.
Are you guys okay?
I shit like 4 times a day, every day.
You also drink like mountains of coffee.
I pooped yesterday and today.
But that should not be used.
No, but
Kill you both.
we cut Tommy's salary.
I cannot wait until the moment that I quit Yes Theory.
I'm just here for the money.
Give me the worst day of my life. Keep going.
All right, let's get this shit over with. Hello, everyone. Today.
It's weird because we don't usually do things like that.
Today we're gonna go into the untold stories and the lessons learned from 2022. So here we are, guys. How are you doing?
Yes, doing great.
It's happy to have you here, man. 3 years later, like I think if we were to project ourselves to this moment, it would be very strange when we first met. You know, one of the core sayings of Yes Theory is a stranger is a friend you haven't met yet. And I think our relationship really embodies that, you know, because we met in the most random circumstances, and now I do consider you one of my closest best friends, and just blessed to be able to travel and be silly together, and now be sitting here and reflecting. It's it's grateful to be here with all 4 of you, all 3 of you. I was never very good at math, so you know.
I know Amar just flew in from Los Angeles. Tommy, you've been doing challenging the recent days. You've been in Italy, Thomas, and so how are we doing?
I'm feeling very grateful, to be in this moment, be here with all you guys. It's not always we're in the same room, so just always blessed when we are.
I feel full in a good way. My heart is full, and you know, this year we've got to expand who we are and what we do in the biggest ways we've ever done in our life and in our 20s, and to just get to reflect on a very, very full year that makes me feel full.
I feel quite relaxed, actually. I've had a pretty tumultuous year in terms of movement and things that we've done. But the past month I've been here and, you know, doing my breakdance challenge with Maeda and having a routine. So I feel very grounded and relaxed right now.
Stefan was telling me he rewatched an honest conversation, which we posted also on Seek Discomfort a few years ago. And you came in and you were in such a different place because you'd been editing nonstop. Mm-hmm. And your intention at that point was, I want to see Discomfort, I want to travel, I want to join you guys on adventures. And I really took that feedback. And I was like, oh yeah? You wanted leeches in your face?
Not that kind.
I liked you missed the throwing party Seeking Discomfort, and
I came from the brutal part of Yes Theory.
Talking about movement, a lot of things has happened this year, and we got a little surprise for you. We have some Aussie people in Australia, and Jack, he's actually been putting a lot of effort into making Yes Theory 365 days. So you're gonna have a look on this.
No
video
way.
Right.
Wow.
Now.
We're here because of everything we all did. So, and it's like everything we ever dreamed, everything we ever said that we wanted to do, and it's getting bigger and it's getting better, and it's.
Oh yeah.
How are you?
All right. Same.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude. That's a long one.
I just got kissed by a wolf.
Yeah, it's cold. There's minus 33 outside, look.
The Yes Theory team is going to be based out of Dublin.
Wow, we did a lot of stuff.
You're so high.
I think we've just met the most spontaneous elderly man in Moldova.
Oh my god. Wait, we can't get in the water with that, right?
Got a pretty large donation, €100,000.
Amazing.
So we have now just surpassed €250,000.
What people need the most is equal opportunities, get the chance to live in their own cities.
Do you feel hopeful being here now?
Oh, completely. Yeah, because it's like a nation built by the people, you know, like we built it back up again.
It's taken us 4 days to get here. We have another day of
just hiking. Tomorrow is the day of the actual harvest.
I'm grateful for this magnet that we've built that has brought the most wonderful people into our life. It's neither the destination or the journey, it's the company, and this is the best fucking company a man or a woman can ask for. No one ever thought that we would, you know, one day be putting a premiere for 5,000 people across 7 different countries, and we're about to blow people's minds.
Wow.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. That was amazing.
Wow.
That was
did a lot of
we're
stuff.
soon. What are you feeling?
Did a lot.
Yeah, it's that was
Well,
one year.
We were having breakfast this morning, and we were talking about how the year feels like. There are things I every December I go through my phone, and the photos are a really great way to see where you've been, and it's like the greatest way to actually track what you've been doing, and there are memories that were made this year that genuinely don't feel like they were in this year. So I would say everything up to going to Ukraine, going to the border, feels like it was in a different year than this one. This year felt like the greatest distortion of time, and but in a way it also made us realize like how much you can do.
Yeah, I can't
in just
believe.
a year.
Like, I mean, this is a weird one, but you went to Yakutsk this year, and like I forgot that was this year. You went to the coldest city in the world.
Yeah.
Like what? That feels like 2 years ago.
Well, it's also I went to Russia the month before the war, and then when the war started,
and at that point, nobody thought it would happen.
Yeah.
Nobody believed that they would actually. Yeah, it's bizarre. I think he did a really good job at capturing all of the different sides that happened. You know, I thought it was very interesting to see like the mix of the travel and then of the premiere at the same time. I thought that was really cool because it showed like the contrast between what the two of us have been doing. You know, we've slowed down in terms of we don't post weekly anymore and these kind of things. You know, it feels like things are a little bit more at a pace that's manageable. But at the same time, the trips have gone more complicated. You know, one video can take 10 days, not 1 day to film. In a year, there's a lifetime's worth of lessons. And the hardest part about it sometimes is like how many amazing people we're blessed to cross paths with and how many lessons they can bring to us. I think that's the part that, you know, sometimes, which is the main reason for me, at least I wanted to slow down because it's like, otherwise I don't have time to process any of it. And so without reflection, I think any experience ends up either just like, you know, storing itself in your body and like comes up later on needing to be reflected on, or you don't even digest any of it and don't learn anything from it.
I know 7 months ago you just shared this, that you wanted to live a more intentional life. If you look at it 7 months later, like how have you been doing that? Is that by reflecting by yourself? Is it meditating? Like you're talking about being intentional, but how do you actually do that?
I think for us, like luckily the framework that we follow to create is one that has to start with the seed of inspiration for anything that we do, has to stem out of the purpose and the why that we've identified for ourselves. And that is to tell stories, create experiences and spaces that can elevate people's sense of their own humanity and the overall human experience. So I guess on a professional level, this is where the intention comes from. And I think on a personal level is just wanting to make sure that this intention is also reflected in our personal lives so that they both are going in synchrony. My personal battle, as I said, is like lies within putting the intention behind Yes Theory and the way I want Yes Theory to be out for the world before so I care about my own intention in my own life.
Weirdly, like seeking discomfort became comfortable for us, right? Yeah. Like I feel more at peace on a trip somewhere quite dangerous than I do alone in my apartment, you know, like that, and that says something, right?
Yeah. I think after 7 years of seeking discomfort, I think this episode can be perfect actually to dig more into it. Because if I ask you, Tommy, I watched this video, Anonymous Conversation from 4th of October 2020, and on this video you can say that I wanted to be okay to be weird and I want to come out of my shell and seek this comfort.
I've done a lot since then. Even in the past 2 years, like that was like 2 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. But no, I felt like I purposefully like almost didn't find a home for the past year and a half because we've been traveling so much and doing so many different things. I feel like I've constantly tried to keep doing something for the past, like since this basically, when we were able to move. And it's been really fun, and it's been like something I wouldn't give anything to have, but also realize I also need rest in between and some sort of stability. I got back from Ghana like a month ago and just journaled for like 5 hours, just writing down what I did that year. And it was like 14 pages. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah. I think yes theory has always been a theory. And I think you stepping up in the way you have is a confirmation that the actual theory works. Like people can look at us and feel like we have things naturally, even though we really don't. It came with a lot of practice, but because people have this, people don't know what our lives were before we got together to do Yes Theory, but people know what your life was. People see you in the background, this like dude that doesn't talk much, and when he appeared in episodes, he was always like as the quiet, shy guy. And now for people to see you do everything that you might have once watched Yes Theory and be like, oh, I can never do that because of a certain way you are. Now people, I think, see you and be like, wow, well, damn, these guys are not special. And that's the whole point. That was the whole point, is actually making people realize that there was nothing. It's just the love we have for each other and our intention with consistently going out of our comfort zone and what that can offer in terms of stories to the people. So,
wow. That's the most honored I've felt. It's very sweet, thank you.
I got some statistics here. Is that this year, 2022, Thomas traveled to 4 out of the 8 most dangerous countries in the world.
Wow. What's your draw? Why are you drawn to dangerous places?
You know, I think if I'm very honest with myself, it's really not the adrenaline of like the danger. You know, it's not about the danger. I think the danger is, it maybe makes the story more like
high
tense,
stakes.
you know,
Yeah.
and there's stakes, and like we can start the video with kind of tense music, and maybe, you know, the average viewer gets pulled in by that. But ultimately, I think those places have the least amount of human stories told. I find that the people who in those places actually have some of the highest form of humanity because they've had to hold on to that to stay alive. And they've been the most open and kind and sharing, which has been very shocking. You know, you go to places like Iraq and Afghanistan where really the people have nothing, yet they see someone coming to visit and they want to make sure you feel welcome. You know, in Iraq, we were buying ice cream. It's the guy's shop and he refused to take money. Mm-hmm. And we're like, dude, it's like $3. Like, please let us pay for it. It wasn't even $3. It was like probably 30 cents, you know? And it's like, just let us give you the money, you know? And he's like, you're a guest. Like, I want you to feel welcome. You know, places in Afghanistan where people, when they find out you're there to tell the human story, you're not a UN worker, you're not a government employee, you're there because you care about them as humans. It's the shine in their eyes is infectious. So from a creative perspective, it's very challenging because I understand, like, these people have had their stories told wrong a million times. Mm. So many of them are like worried, right? Like, yes fam from those places are like, oh, like, you're making a story about our country. Like, what's your angle? Mm. You know, because they're worried that, you know, it's so easy to get it wrong. And so for me, it's just, from a creative perspective, it requires every ounce of my brain, not just intellectually, but emotionally, to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Because what a responsibility to hold, right? It's not my story, it's theirs. And so I have to do it justice. And from all of these angles, it feels exciting.
I'm reflecting on something I read in the Atomic Habits we were talking about this morning. I was talking about like the role of dynamic
Atomic
contrast.
Habits is a book about habits.
Yeah, I'm reading that now as well, yeah.
Yeah, there's like, talks about, I think there's a part of it that talks about like the dynamic contrast and how it's one of the best ways for the brain to understand something is when you show it the two complete opposites. And that's also because there's such an appeal for the brain in that. I think that they talk about like how in food they try to put the sweet and the salt, the sweet and spicy, or like the crunchy on the outside but very like soft on the inside. Yeah. There's something very appealing to that, and I think the way Yes Theory has been able to take like a very positive subject matter to go to the places that have the worst reputation and mix these two things together creates an entirely new flavor of like warmth and feelings that you have towards.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of voices and it can be noisy out there. How do you stay true to your message and go for what you want to go for instead of tapping into what everyone else wants?
I had some level of confidence that people would care about a video where, it's not a group of friends traveling. Like I'd done Afghanistan and I've done a few videos kind of on my own, but it wasn't something that I'd sustained for almost 8 months to a year, of just kind of having to have that confidence. So that was quite scary, and I took the responsibility seriously as well. Like I wanted to do both. I don't like compromising. I like doing it all. I don't want to settle and accept that, okay, well, you can't do purposeful videos that also pull in a large audience. I just didn't believe that was true. I think it was possible. And although it's much more challenging, I was okay with it being more challenging. If it's too easy, I get bored. And then I get more anxious and stressed because I'm like, this is not inspiring me to step up, to really try to bring in every ounce of my mind and my body into this. For me, like if I play a game, I want to figure out how can I be the best, and I treat that with everything that I do. And maybe it's not a good thing. Maybe it's coming from a place of insecurity, probably somewhere. And if you dig far enough, you'll find that, With YouTube, the very confusing part is that winning is kind of ultimately a subjective measure, because if it's all about numbers, then there are channels that are winning much more than we are. But if it is about all these other things, then I think we're doing great, but those other things don't get measured in the same way, right? Oh. Like they're not the number on the screen actually, right? Like what's the level of depth with the connection in your community? What's the level of impact you have on the people that are watching the videos? All of these things are not measurable. I feel that I understand YouTube. I understand how people think. And I understand that even in Afghanistan, although the video is super positive and there's a lot of positive elements to it, my thumbnail looked dramatic. I'm playing a little bit in what I know people will react to, which is the slightly more dramatic looking things, right? But then you hide the vegetables. You put in the lessons and the wholesome and the impactful parts of it hidden into the story that people believe is going to be some, dramatic thing that they're used to. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this. The same reason why people watch serial killer documentaries is because it gives you this weird fear, like it plays through that, and then you actually get to change their expectation by delivering something different.
No, but I want to ask you, once upon a time you lived in an apartment with some boys, had some dream, and now 7 years later you're director Habibi. How does it feel to be director Habibi, and what's been the worst and the best part of doing this? You haven't been as much in videos, but we know you put your soul into Project Iceman.
I did with Project Iceman what I've always done with Yes Theory, and I don't really think it was a different scale. And even though I went into it thinking it was a different scale and you need to do all these things, it ended up at the end of the day looking like more similar to the process of editing a Yes Theory video than it did whatever they told me editing a feature film documentary was going to be. It's really interesting because a lot of people are asking me like, what's your next film? And alhamdulillah, the feedback has been amazing towards Project Iceman, and people are really excited about if this is your first, but I don't really I never did this because I wanted to be a director or I wanted to be a filmmaker. We're a filmmaker because that's it's almost, those are the cards that we were dealt, and this is our tool to actually be able to put out the story. And I know that's, for Thomas, he's like storytelling and your desire to tell stories is that's actually what you want to do. But for me, it was always I wanted to tell the stories to get to a point where I can do something else. And that's, that's more about deepening the Yes Theory community and creating better frameworks and infrastructure for the community to be healthier and to actually see more of the Yes Theory application in real life. I think to make a point, and not out of interest in wanting to do this again, but just in showing we have an engine that can produce this. The past 2 months defined how I look at the next 5 years. Truly, I feel like the clarity that I've had through not looking at what we've built through the lens of these measurements that we get of this is how many places that you went this year, this is how many subscribers you got, this is how many views you got. I actually got to meet people that have been paying the most attention, engaging the most with what we do, because obviously these are the people that responded to going to the premiere or supporting the film. So you know, it was also an indication of their commitment towards yes theory, and getting to talk to those people specifically, which is like a hyper-focused group from the 8 million people that follow us on YouTube, was, as I said, just life-changing.
It's also, you know, something that you told me a few months ago is we haven't trained ourselves to having to wait months or years to go from idea to filming to fruition.
That's my answer.
Yeah.
That's my answer, yeah.
So, you know, we filmed something last week. Yeah. It's going up in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. We're going to get people, you know, validating our experience within a couple of weeks, right? This has taken 3 years. I remember you were really struggling with that, especially seeing Tommy and I post, film post, right? Like these videos are going up and like it's taken so damn long.
And it's probably it's the most against my personal nature, spending all this time not seeing anything, not seeing the reward or the feedback, not even the reward, just the feedback loop come back, which has been how we've just done things over the past 7 years.
How does it feel to like be told that something is impossible so often and then prove them wrong? Like, how does that going into the future affect you? Like, do you feel like you have a new renounced sense of confidence?
Yes, and not even in my ability. It's not in my ability to go against the impossible. I think that's one side of the story that you can look at. But the other side that I focus more on is that when people tell you that something is impossible, it cannot be done, it's way less about that being true. It's not actually, that's not actually true.
I think it's really well explained in the film as well.
Yeah, and it's really, you just can't not believe someone that tells you something cannot be done or is impossible, before you even question your own ability to do the thing or not.
How is it for you, Thomas? You said earlier that seeking discomfort has become your comfort. Can you tell us more? What does that mean for you, seeking discomfort?
I think we've had 7 years of like survival, you know, like it hasn't felt like at any point like it was easy, you know, and that's also gives me confidence to know that it's pretty damn hard to replicate what we've done because it's been difficult. So I feel, you know, sometimes that gives me comfort to know like, good luck, you know, trying this out. We've sought a lot of discomfort externally, and the internal discomfort is actually quite large, and it makes sense as like the next looming one to tackle. And I think with this situation in Cameroon, it was quite unfortunate. You know, sometimes when you do put yourself in situations where you're going to be very far away in an environment that is potentially unpredictable, things unfortunately sometimes can go wrong, right? Like your intention and your objective can be misunderstood, and that's what happened. That was in the panic zone, right? Like now I was beyond the comfort, felt like my fate was completely in the hands of potentially the Cameroon military, you know, so.
I think you mentioned it before, like you feel more comfortable when you're out on adventures because you're focused on this one thing. You don't have to think about all these other thoughts. You can just do this one thing. I felt myself feel that too. And when you come back from all that and you're like at home, it's like in Lord of the Rings when they come back to the Shire and they're like now what?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that.
Totally. That analogy of coming back to the Shire is quite interesting. Like,
kill you both in Anders. If anyone says one more Lord of the Rings analogy, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
It's just the best movies of all time.
I think it's a good time to actually do a round of what's seeking discomfort for you 2023.
I think spending more time with you actually was very discomfortable. The joy in my life gradually decreased. Yeah.
Nice
so
to know you.
So if you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go. Honestly, 2020 and 2021 was a confusing time to know, like, what is that line between what does the audience want and what do we want to make? And for me, it gave me enough data points to understand that. And at the start of the year, I felt very clear about exactly kind of what type of the tone that I wanted the videos to feel and the types of stories I wanted to tell. I had a very clear idea of what I wanted to do. You had a very clear idea of what you wanted this documentary to be and feel like. And doubling down and making those things happen in our own ways, at least was one of the, maybe it wasn't discomforts, but it was like representations of like what this year ended up embodying for both of us, is just doubling down on from vision to reality.
The first anchor for 2022 was going to Poland in March and doing Team Ukraine Love and realizing that the power that you have with a small group of people that are dedicated to act. I just want to spend the next years continuing to find ways and build actual tools for this community to grow and for people to be able to apply the S theory in their lives in a very effective way, more so than just the watching of the stories.
I hope to continue in the direction that we're currently in, and then continue expanding beyond that as well. You know, I don't want us to limit ourselves to the videos. I want us as a collective to expand, and I know that that's what Amar is going to be very keen on doing. And I hope to just continue challenging myself creatively and bringing stories that have this, you know, intersection of purpose and reach, and seeing what other corners of the world we can explore. Like 2020 and 2021 was difficult from a financial perspective for us. You know, I think you see channels and you see people with Lambos and stuff, you know, like the reality is like our operation is quite expensive, and we
Have all
donate
invested,
money, we invested back into the company. Like it hasn't been like unlimited stream of cash, and so there was a level of pressure.
I mean, we've had months where we literally
had zero.
Our bank account doesn't cover our credit card payments, and obviously, granted, there's like, you know, I don't want to make it also too dramatic because a lot of it has to do with other companies paying on time. But the reality of running a company is that there's so many curveballs that get thrown at you all the time.
Also pay a lot, and there's, you know, there's 30 to 40% goes in taxes. Like, you know, these things are realities that we were faced with, and now I feel we're in a position where we have enough cushion to be able to create from more of a place of joy, and I think those will just enhance the quality of the stories. And yeah, because we cut Tommy's salary. So
how do you feel about this, Tommy?
No. Wait, what?
Continue. Yeah, sorry, bro. Yeah, and that will just allow us to, you know, have more of a financial cushion.
I think the biggest thing that happened to Yes Theory, outside of all the public-facing wins, is actually having been able to build our team to a level that we've never experienced before. We now, you know, and that started with bringing in Pedro at the beginning of this year, who joined us from Brazil, and he came in to be the head of operations at Yes Theory, and then, you know, Pedro took the charge as we focused on, you know, the things that Yes Theory needs to get out. Pedro focused on, okay, now let's build a team. Let's make sure that Yes Theory, and it's obviously something that we've been working on for years, but let's make sure Yes Theory as a team also is more representative. You know, we have our first female editor. We have now a total of 4 women on the team. We're a team that operates in 3 different time zones on 3 different continents. Like in a year after feeling like, oh, we just don't know especially, you know, end of 2021, with so many uncertainties, it just feels like even with our structure being more loose and not really location defined, we've actually managed to really grow our sense of what, like, the Yes Theory team is, and it not just being like, oh, it's just the boys at the house. Now we're a full team, and our meetings feel awesome, and, you know, so shout out to everyone that has joined us this year. You know, Melly, who put the shoot together. We've got Des back at the S house doing all the amazing social media work. You know, Miriam and Dora keeping the community healthy, and obviously Pedro for just being the father figure.
But that's a challenge, you know, like expanding beyond being a group of friends making all the decisions together. And that's something that we had to learn how to do as well, because it used to be a consensus-based decision-making. You know, Matt, Amar, and I would sit down and we would basically not vote, but we would like decide together.
Fight until
and we would beat each other up, and like until somebody gave up, and then we would go with whoever last man standing's decision, you know. And I'm obviously kidding. But afterwards, now learning how to also, when you've built your baby, to let other people contribute to making decisions and adding their own personalities into the mix is, I think, has been a growth journey for us. And it's perfect because now that we've hired our first female editor, we can fire our first editor.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally get rid of him.
More balance.
Yeah. My bank account's being tagged, my deployment's being tagged.
Are you okay?
Maybe I shouldn't have done this. I also want to give a shout out to like Cam and Tristan and the other editors on the team who like, they don't matter, but their salaries are also cut.
We could mention all of them. Yeah, Cam, Jack.
But they've like also
Des
stepped up in their roles.
Hey man, I swear I was gonna mention them too, but we just got interrupted. Don't make it feel like I was gonna mention everyone.
As the editor who cares about other editors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super grateful for for all the hard work, because it's not easy. You know, like we've set the bar very high. You know, we've set the bar very freaking high on the amount of editing that goes into these things. Like, if people saw the amount of footage we come back with in the short amount of time we have to put it together, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm proud of you guys because you're a part of that team. You know, like you're the most ambivalent. You're the most ambivalent member, actually. You know, you do multiple things.
I don't think it's the right word.
I don't think it's the right word either.
Ambivalent means I don't care.
Really? Oh, I thought it meant you do multiple
Like
things.
ambidextrous, maybe.
But I don't think he would also go
That's
for
right.
that word.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that word. Ambivalent in French, I think, means like,
Okay.
isn't it? You do multiple things? Polyvalent? Okay. Well, I'm saying it wrong all the time. I thought I had an excuse, but there's other French people here to verify my incorrectness. My point is, you have the most, like, you wear multiple hats, right? And we all do to some extent, but you, in the most visually drastic way, you're either out camping or you're at home editing, and that's the biggest contrast.
Give it up for the team. Give it up for the team. We can see that the time is flying.
Then we're doing that.
Yeah, we're doing that, and then we put them in there.
And then we're doing that.
This is still recording.
Because, I mean, we can do it different. No, that's not.
Give a shit, I'm just here for the money.
This is the real yes theory. This
Every
is the uncovered.
second of this year that I've spent with you has been utter dreadful.
I cannot wait until the moment. I cannot wait until the moment that I quit Yes Theory. I start my own channel and I post.
Where you
Guess
gonna
the
go?
first video
Where you
title.
gonna go?
Guess the first video
What-
title.
what- can you
Why
tell
I quit
me?
Yes Theory.
Damn, that's gonna get a lot
20
of
million
views.
views.
Pillow fight.
We're actually gonna go to some questions from the Yes fam.
Oh, okay.
Love seeing the Sherpa hoodie.
Hi, my name's Sameem from Sheffield, England. I'm currently saving up, working hard to go on my own adventures next year. But I was just wondering, how do you decide where you want to go? What do you use as your inspiration to pick a location? Because I know I want to get out of my hometown. I'm saving up money. I want to get out there, but I don't know how to decide where to go and what that process really should be. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Wherever you'd find the best thumbnail, no?
Yeah, it's wherever I can make the most money and get the best thumbnail to monetize. Views and clickbait. Ultimately, you know, it's that's what it's about. Next question.
Okay, thank you, Sameem.
I think the best thing is to figure out what stage you're in. Don't go to Somaliland if you've never traveled before, right? Like, you have to start by, okay, you're from the UK, go to Ireland and explore the nature and the coast there. Go to Scotland and find some of their amazing castles that you'd rent a car and go drive up and explore them. You know, like, start with in places where people speak your language, but you're still out of your bubble, and just getting comfortable with the unpredictability of travel, and then you can expand and then go to Spain and go to a country where they don't speak your language, right? And then go to countries where it's different religion and different culture and different standards. And then bit by bit you increase your complexity, because I didn't start with Afghanistan, right? It was like my 50th country. So I think it's important to know where you're at and what you're looking to do. There are different tiers, and I think it's just about knowing what tier you're in, what budget you have, and what your intention is for the trip.
Okay, I think we can do the second one. I think this can be a short answer as well. So we see.
Hi, Yes Theory guys. My name is Victoria. I am from Scotland in the UK. My question is for all of you, and it is, has there been a time that really sticks out in your mind where you have had to really have a love over fear mentality to get through a difficult or a stressful situation?
Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, probably just going 5 years without going home, and still not having the greatest relationship with my dad, barely any. You just have to. The only thing that I think can keep you going for that is to just maintain an understanding of love and choosing love over fear, and also very easy to lose track of like why my dad made certain decisions or our relationship is the way it is. And I believe that it's the root of it is love. It's just a different expression of love that some might not make the most sense to most people, but I understand it. So I think just my maintaining that throughout the year has made it bearable.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
We go for the next one.
Hi, my name is Darren Geyser, and I'm from Irvine, California. And my question is, how do you guys stay so motivated to chase after those dreams that are so crazy and so far to reach?
We do not stay motivated. May I repeat, that's the biggest fucking lie ever. Nobody stays motivated. You're lucky if you have these moments of motivation that can allow you to even push further, but it's not the prerequisite of doing something.
Mood follows action.
Mood
right?
follows action. Matt, when I was, early on in the days, he always say like action is the antidote to despair. And you just realize that, if it's a waiting game for motivation, it will never, ever come.
Well, our feelings go up and down all the time, right? And if you're relying on feeling like doing something to do it, like how can you possibly do anything consistently? There's nobody that just stays on a perma high of exhilaration and inspiration, right? Like if it's a creative endeavor as well, then the definition of it is that there is roller coasters of ups and downs, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a Swedish author that wrote a book about creativity, now moving more about, within the realm of creativity. But, he says the creative process, the ultimate goal is freedom, because you go through this up and down of a roller coaster of emotions. And ultimately when it's done, you have this exhilarating feeling of satisfaction and freedom from having achieved the thing that you had in your mind, gone through the ups and downs and arrived. And so naturally a part of that process is to be on a low. And in those moments, you just got to keep showing up. It doesn't matter how you're feeling about doing it. You just got to keep doing it. I think be connected to your purpose too. I think if you feel like you have purpose in what you do, it's easy to justify showing up even on the days where you don't feel like it. If you're building a mobile gambling game, I can understand how it's difficult to show up when you don't feel like it, but if you're building something that you see, you have a community that you kind of have a responsibility to continue showing up for, it's a different way.
But you're still showing up to the mobile gambling game.
Yeah. My salary's been cut, so I gotta figure out the finances.
It's good that it's finally sinking in. I'm happy you're processing the,
So question number 1. And for you at home, you can think of the answers as well. Maybe some of you are like, will score all of the quizzes here, all of the answers on the quiz questions.
Bro, give me the fucking question.
Wow.
I've been away, but I still follow.
There's no worst day of my life. Stefan, you better post a question that I'm going to win at, because otherwise we're editing
this is going to take a while, dude. Let him ask the damn question.
Next question! You're snoozing and losing right now, Stefan. Next question. I think for me, I feel personally attacked. I also feel it was unfair that Tommy got points when we all knew the answer.
I'm actually okay with that part. So, bro, at least film it. Wow.
You did it. Wow, well done. That was the hardest quiz show I've ever done. Next time, just make sure to not ask me what my name is.
Okay, so we have a little message for you. So we're gonna play that. You're gonna see it, and then we're done with the message. So
we really got him. We got him.
You're doing great. You're doing really great.
You're doing good, man. You're doing great. You're doing great.
The man spoke for years and years on stages. Didn't last 2.5 hours with us.
He's having flashbacks to high school.
So let us please show who these two people are.
Hey guys, what's up?
Exactly how I imagine it.
This is such a weird video to record because for the first time in a very long time, I am kind of aware with all that you're doing, and you're kind of aware of what I'm doing, since we literally saw each other in person only a few months ago, which was very special. Since this year I finally got my citizenship and now I can travel around. It is not the end point, but I feel like you are getting into the groove of your, I don't want to say lives because it's just going to sound very
he's editing himself.
Yeah. But at least like it is getting into a groove. So I have to say that I'm very proud of that. One more thing, sorry, totally forgot, since I was editing the book with Matt, it's like reading the history. I am very proud, not of the achievements on paper, but achievements personally as well. Because I was rereading and recalling all the arguments and so on, and I was very proud of all of our communication. And I think that's what made Yes Theory very special from the very beginning. So yeah, that's me, guys. I am gonna go and play a bunch of PlayStation 4 right now, because
Cut. PlayStation. Zoom.
What's up, my dudes? What a freaking year. I'm so proud of each and every one of you, the whole team, not just you, Thomas and Amar, everybody. But this video is specifically for Thomas, Amar, and Tommy. I think
I'm back in.
You guys have just done an incredible job at continuing to tell the most open, loving, thoughtful stories, in my opinion, on the whole platform. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Yes Theory. What can I say? I mean, I've told you this a million times over conversations and calls and voice notes, but I genuinely believe these stories that we're telling on YouTube are changing the world and changing how people see the world. Amar, you know this. You are just continuing down this unbelievable path of breaking down the expectations of what a person is supposed to do in a certain industry or who is from a certain place. You're just consistently elevating and inspiring not just content creators, but humans in general. And again, I'm just so grateful to call you my brother. Meanwhile, you guys have just been more than patient with me with the book. It's just been encouragement and love and support per usual. And I think that's what's finally made me ready to release this soon in May of next year, which is crazy. So thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being patient with me. And I'm so excited to share our story to the world very, very soon. Alrighty. I love you so much.
How do you feel? Any comments to Matt and Darren as well? You want to send something back?
Just, miss them both and grateful every day for the seed that we planted together and the tree that's turned out to be.
I have a question for you. How well do you know each other?
Pretty fucking well.
Pretty fucking well, you say?
He's very confident, so I'm gonna go one below his confidence because he's won at all the how well you know each other games. So I'll be number 2. I think Tommy will be 3rd.
I know each one of these people like I am that person. Okay. I'm going above Amar.
We will see how much you agree with each other. We will see how much you know each other because we're gonna play the game. How much do you know each other?
All right.
Put it on.
This is gonna be hell for you.
Okay, we have a tie. I rewatched the episode overnight on the most dangerous bed in the world 2019, some days ago. Thomas, you didn't fulfill that the entire night.
Yeah.
I think it was quite.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever given up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. Just a little trauma for me to process tonight. It's the worst day of my life. Keep going. How do you feel about Amar refusing to answer 90% of your questions?
Yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah. He just wants you to make sure that he knows that you know that he's still in charge.
Yeah.
Really? No. There is definitely. I felt the truth in that.
Are you drawing something, Tommy? This is a serious competition.
Who is the best hugger? Oh my god. Amar won, yeah.
He's a good hugger.
No.
He's a,
He's
got a comfy body to hold, and I'm gonna, next question.
Yeah.
Is there a next question?
We'll end it on the best hugger.
We called it right.
Wow.
If you guys want Stefan to ask you other questions, like if you have any.
I mean, I say Stefan can come here and then I ask the questions to really show him who's in charge. Where do you get your inspiration for questions?
Where do you get your motivation from?
Yeah, how do you stay motivated to ask?
Which member of the team has given you more trauma?
Where I get my inspiration is that I have hope still.
What does hope stand for? Because it must stand for something in your brain.
Hope stands for hello,
opportunities, pop
everywhere.
Hello, opportunities pop everywhere.
That's actually really good.
Hello, opportunities pop everywhere.
Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you. I want to ask the last question. What do you want to send to everyone watching? What do you want to bring into 2023?
I hope that just everyone takes a moment to pause and reflect. I think this time during COVID was very strange for everyone, and I hope that it invites a moment of reflection to move forward with more intention. Thank you for hosting.
Yeah.
For being here with us.
World's greatest host.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll bring your salary back. Don't worry. It was just temporary, but you were kind of cool in this interview, so we'll keep you around.
While this interview's been going on, I've cut your salary. Nice. The tables are turned.
What's going on? What's we can probably not vote him because we can probably have majority vote in Yes Theory.
Just brainstorming.
Congratulations.
That was fantastic.
That was really great.
Tom, anything to add, or are you?
I think just do something you haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
life is short. You might die.
Okay.
Was that bad? On stage dive.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah. What's in here?
Thank you for that here. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy holiday. Happy holiday.
From our family to yours.
Why are you guys so
Wow.
discriminating?
Merry
Bro? Melina. Discriminating.
Get in
against
here,
so
get in here.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Get this guy off me. Get this guy off me.